Alright guys, today we got another Perrin box in the mail. Super excited about this part. This is just going to be one of those parts to help out the car. Good supporting mod for anybody that's got like full bolt-ons and you plan on doing some real driving with the car. So this today is Perrin's Oil Cooler Kit for the 2015 Plus WRX. Definitely if you're auto-crossing the car, this would be a really good mod to have, as in your oil cooler is going to be sitting outside of the engine bay and it should just keep your temperatures nice and cool. So far, actually, like during this summer, doing some summer driving on the highways in Mexico, maybe fifth gear pulls to the moon, I've seen temperatures as high as 220, and that's just, you know, going in a straight line. So, and you know, during one pull. So with these mini modifications and bolt-ons to the car, aftermarket turbo, stuff like that, I'd be hesitant to take it on a track and feel really confident about the temperatures right now. So this is definitely going to be one of those supporting mods that is going to complement all the full bolt-ons for this car and just, you know, be a peace of mind if I do go, or if and when I do go to the track or try to do any auto crossing. I'm going to have full confidence now. The nice thing about this, compared to some other oil cooler kits out there, is this sandwich plate here is thermostatic. Pretty sure that's the word for it. Anyway, it opens up after a certain temperature for the oil. I think it's 180 degrees. It'll start to open up. So if you have this kit in the winter time, it will pretty much stay closed off until the oil temperature hits, I think it's 185 degrees. I'll have to double check, but that's nice as well, because if you have an oil cooler kit in the winter, you got to think about your oil sitting in the radiator, and that's going to be really cold. So once this closes itself off and then the oil temperature heats up, then it will open up and allow the oil to flow all the way through the system. So that's a nice feature, and that's primarily why I got this kit, on top of it being Perrin, and it's just really well thought out. Just pull this out toward us. It sounds like it's gonna break, but it's actually not that bad. I just gotta be gentle with it. Well, if you guys were planning on doing any work to your bezels, fog lights, anything like that with the front bumper, now is definitely a good time to do it. Perrin will actually provide you with a brand new oil filter with this kit to start off with, so that's really cool. And obviously right here I've chosen to go ahead and do an oil change. They say with this oil cooler kit, plan on adding about a quart of oil more to the car. I went ahead and drained the oil, so now I'm going to remove the oil filter. Next up, we need to get the tabs off this coolant hose. There's one here, and then there's one down here by the high pressure fuel pump. We'll pull that one up a little bit. And there's also one back here behind the oil cooler. This is the bigger hose. So here's the first push clamp, loosened up. Second one sits down in here next to the high pressure fuel pump. So I pulled that up, got that loose. And then the third one back here, a little more difficult to see, sits behind the oil cooler and is right here. Next, we'll use this hose supplied from the Perrin kit with the adapter. Went ahead and cut a little bit of the hose off, and during this process we're probably going to lose a little bit of coolant. Would highly suggest picking up these hose clamps or hose pliers like that. So here's the nozzle. Just push our hose on here. Get that into place real nice. You got to make sure the hose is not rubbing the belt here, so it looks like I'm actually going to have to twist tie this twist tie this new hose back. I could have cut it a little shorter so it pulls a little more taut, but I'm gonna go with what I've got here and just zip tie it. I'm gonna remove this 24mm nut in the oil cooler for the OEM. So just get that. So once you got the 24mm threaded adapter out of there for the OEM, be careful to remove the stock oil cooler. It still has coolant in it, and if you tilt it one way or another, you might be getting antifreeze into your oil. So be careful not to tip the stock oil cooler. We're gonna put the Subaru one in. This is provided with the Perrin kit. Next up, we have the threaded adapter provided with the oil cooler kit. I went ahead, put some motor oil on here, and we'll just thread it in by hand. Be careful not to cross thread it. Should go in very easily into the threads. And we'll get this torque down to spec. We'll go ahead and torque this down to 25 foot-pounds of torque. This bolt, our nut, is a 24mm, just like the one we used. Same socket size we used to take it off. So we'll get this torque down 25 foot-pounds. Came with the Perrin kit. Logo right here. Make sure the logo is readable, not upside down like this. So we'll put it on. Perrin is going to be facing toward the engine a little bit. Next up, we've got the thermostat here. It came with the kit. This is the seal, so make sure this is facing down. We'll put this on top next. And then we'll use this threaded adapter. This cylinder piece will go down through the two of those, and then it's got threads in here for the other adapter that we put into the OEM oil area. So we'll just try to get these threads to line up and the adapter to push all the way through. Again, do this loosely by hand. Make sure you have some threads. Just assemble the oil cooler with the brackets. So Perrin bracket will be facing this way where it's readable. Just slides right into the oil cooler, match up the holes. And we've got these 5mm bolts that came with washers. So we'll just add these on and thread them in by hand first, and then we'll torque them down a little bit. This one on this side it just goes in just like this. So we'll get that started. Line up the holes with the oil cooler, and then all we have to do is put all of our bolts in, and we'll get ready to continue with the process after that. Next, we'll put our double-sided tape on this portion of the bracket with the gap right here. Just cut it to the same length as this portion here. Put that side of it on. For mounting the oil cooler, I had to pull this little part of shielding up from the car, so I removed this small tab, this tab, and this tab over here. Three plastic tabs, and then just pulled it up a little bit out of the way, and it'll give me access to the mounting hole. For the holes, get these out. And then drop the bottom down. The Perrin should be readable, so they should. Okay. Careful with the fins, and then our bracket right here will go behind our car, and then we'll use the washer and the 5mm bolt. Get those in place. The bolt for the oil cooler is a little bit tricky to get to. and tighten down. You just got to start it by hand, line up the oil cooler, and then try to get it started. Actually, it was really helpful to have a 4mm socket, and then the elbow right here, and then the extension. So I did that, got that finger tight, and now I'm just going to torque it down with the wrench. Put the oil lines in. I'll tighten this side on both nuts on the oil cooler, so I'll get those tightened down, and then I'll work on taking this other side of the double-sided tape off and then push it back into place. It should stay really nicely. Here we have the oil lines. The 90-degree elbow will go to the top of our oil cooler. The 45-degree elbow will go to the bottom of the oil cooler. The easiest way to tell is these are the male threads going into the female threads of the oil cooler. We've got both of our oil cooling lines connected to the oil cooler, so we're just going to run them up along the bottom, around the crash beam here, and then up in here to the oil cooler. So stick them right in here. Be careful if you have any lighting cables. And just route them very carefully, not to get caught on anything. From the bottom side of the car, we'll have to remove this bolt. The bolt head on the bottom is 10mm, so I've got to ratchet down here, and we'll just go ahead, back this out. Came out from the bottom, and we're going to replace it with this shorter 5mm bolt that came with our Perrin kit. Now we're going to feed our oil line, our oil cooling lines the rest of the way up, to make sure to go under this AC line. Just ready to add oil to the car. We've got the 2 oil lines connected right here to the new thermostat adapter for Perrin. Went ahead and tightened this one down. It's on there as good as I think it should be, and I still have enough clearance to take off the OEM oil cap. On here you can see them running through, and I'll probably dress it up with some of the molding that Perrin provided with the kit. I'll go through and do that. But anyway, here's the 45-degree elbow connected to the oil radiator, and then here is the 90-degree elbow connected. These only get 15 foot-pounds of torque, and I've got some oil on the oil filter here on this seal, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Nice and hand tight, not overly tight. Got the key in the ignition and in the on position. So what they want you to do is hold down the gas pedal to 100% all the way, and then try and start the car. So push in the clutch and do this for about 5 to 10 seconds, and I guess that's going to prime the oil for us. And the car won't start, so that's a good thing. So now we're probably ready to start the car. Go ahead and start the car like normal. Anything around here, so that's good. And let's go down, check our radiator. So, yeah, nothing here. And what do we got down here? Nothing. Looks clean. So, nothing looks like it's leaking.